Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the coloring activity of your work desk notes here. As you see right here, is I went ahead and drew to say some examples. Obviously of a normal school desk. Would say wooden, or if it's plastic or anything like that, a school desk. And a lot of times with most of desk, it is you got right here is the teacher's desk, and then you got it's like the student desk right here. And of course I went ahead and drew colored in some say examples of what normally a student desk would look like. That you have right here is a place where the kid child can sit down and do their schoolwork. It is. And then of course you have like a place right here where they can be writing down that notes and stuff like that. But then of course that reminds me of a story from back from whenever I was in kindergarten. It was at kindergarten through first grade. It's like preschool is known about. It's like with the desk that I guess with every desk, quite a few of them, depending on what, if you are going to a public school or any place like that they would have it to where the desk would look a little bit different. That you have it to where the front part will be, it's like about right here, and you would have the chairs that would pull in and out. And you would have it to where there would be like what you say a bar fitter right here that would hold the desk area, the writing area in place while the student would sit down and then write down notes or whatever that they were working on. But basically is that they're talking about what the work desk notes is talking about is that I remember when I was in school, of course going to high school, was that they had desks just like these right here, that with the real hard bunks. And I remember that I, of course, asked my parents, is like knowing about that. Yeah, that a lot of people, a lot of the students in the classroom would be like that. That with the teachers, a lot of times the teachers would be. It's like maybe that with that that they have that what you call that fancy bow ribbon, that pen that they can write down when work at their desk, and maybe do a few different things. It's like knowing about that they could use their favorites. So you have like these different gadgets, say pens and accessories or whatever it is, and just that knowing about that. Yeah, that with most of the time with the teachers that they have like what you call maybe a fancy computer, writing table. It is, you got a computer right here, and of course maybe a few drawer and a few locations right here on their work desk where they can keep like maybe a pair of scissors or maybe some glue or anything like that. And a lot of students, I remember when I was in school, that not only about the chairs, but it would be like that. Yeah, that they would want to walk around that the teacher's desk it was, and then just seeing it, the different things. Of course, I went to like different schools. It was school districts. But other than that, with most of the time, what I remember seeing a lot of times around the school area, of course, was like if I remember right, I think that one teacher would have like what you call their own individual pencil sharpener. I think it was a pencil sharpener, and they have like a cup where they can keep in a variety of writing pencils. It is pencils and pens and maybe rulers and stuff. And that they would also have maybe a few paper clips. It is a few paper clips, and then of course a stapler. That particular thing that you would normally see at the teacher's desk. It is. And I remember when I was in school, even in high school, that they would be like that, the different things that the teachers would have at the desk, and just knowing about the fact about, I think one of the things that they really want to have, of course, other than what you call, maybe, other than maybe face painting or, whatever it is, that more likely that typical things is knowing about with the notes, is that the things that between what you have at your desk and what the teacher has at their desk, it is that the thing that they would maybe like to have the student was able to get is maybe a nice pair of shoes or maybe a watch or something like that. But with most teachers, a lot of times would be it's like that walk into the classroom, and a lot of times that they would have like what you call the soft cushion chair. It was the soft cushion chair. And I can remember a story about that over there at the high school I went to, of course, that they have it to where that the chairs that the teachers' chairs, it's like a lot of times the student chairs will be, it's like, hard. I would say, I would describe them as hard benches. It's like hard benches that they would have it to where that you sit on them, and it just feels like you're sitting. You're sitting on a concrete covered with plastic or something like that. It was not. Sometimes it was not very comfortable, and with most of the time, even with the principal or whoever would probably say that hey, you get used to it after a while. That know to concentrate on your schoolwork it is. But just knowing about with most of most of the students, it was that they would ask you. It's like that. Yeah, that is part of the teacher's job really about the fact that they get this real nice soft chair, and all us students that we had to suffer with these hard bunks it is. But other than that, but you would have it, I guess, yeah, that with most teachers that they would be able to sit down in these real soft chairs it was. And I don't know if maybe if they had the softest, quite a few of them probably say that they had those type of chairs to where that they can roll, and then I don't know if they can rock and roll and what you call it, they could if they had like what you call a place where you can adjust that, I guess depend on the seat it is, but they would have like a chair like this, and then of course maybe with like a nice desktop, you say computer it is, and a lot of times with most students, you could probably think about that, that they would have maybe their own portable refrigerator or anything like that, anything that you think of that normally you would see the teacher with. But it's like with the writing utensils, knowing about that, the type of homework that they do is like knowing about that, One student is like, I remember one English teacher who was like, well, in my book that I've already got the answers, but then in your books, then of course it's like knowing about. It's like if we were to do, it's like so far as asking write the words. It's like for is like I am willing. If there's any type of apostrophes you say inside of his sentence it is, and so far with commas it is that more likely. It's like I remember in one English class that they would give you work to do, and if it's like say written, it's like so far as I I am am I something like that. But they would have you like writing down maybe a few notes like it's like my name is. It's like if you want to write that my name is. And a lot of times with most notes, you could probably think about that in English class that they would teach you is like about when they put the parentheses, the apostrophes and stuff like that inside the sentences. And one teacher said that she's already had that they were, if I can remember right, she said that they were like what you call all say imprinted. It's like got the period right there, and then of course with the apostrophe, with the answer with the teacher's guide it is. I guess they go by the teacher's guide. The teacher's guide would look kind of like that, where the correct answers were highlighted both in like ink or it's like red type markings it is. Just the teacher students it is. But other than that, I remember that with the schooling it is, as so far as talk about with the work desk notes is the typical things that you would like you would like to have at your desk. And with most students, they would probably ask, it's like that if you're going to be sitting there at the desk with my reading glasses on for about maybe an hour or two, and just knowing about that it's hard to concentrate on my schoolwork, especially if having to sit on this hard chair of mine. I was even thinking about that if you really wanted to buy a cushion, that you would have to go to like a place like the appliance store and get a cushion to put on a chair. But on the other hand too, that knowing about, if I can remember right, that it's like that if anything that they can that those couple of days I was going to school, it was that quite a few of us were up and down in and out of our chairs a lot of times. And with most teachers, they could probably think about that that, even though if it is a soft cushion chair, that a lot between what the work the teacher has to do and what the student has to do is to keep a note, is that knowing about that, that our job is not to make sure, is not to watch you kids work. It's like, it's like it may seem that way, whatever it is, like whatever story that you want to talk about, it's like it may seem like that, our job is just to make sure that you are doing your work, it is. But on your end too, that half the time between teachers and students it is knowing about that, with whatever the teacher has between what the student has, and just knowing about the fact about, that there may be something that the teacher probably don't want to learn to use, such as maybe a new program on the computer it is, and that, maybe a new stapler, or maybe something else new that more likely that she probably don't want to, learn, or, whatever it is. There may be some teachers that may say that there's always something interesting to learn about a teacher's job. And then there may be some that may say that, one thing I don't like, of course, about the teacher's job, of course, is knowing about that if something had to be printed, and, of course, knowing about that, the types of, things that you would have to do in order to print something, or, get, grade report, whatever you call it, attend a meeting, if I remember right, if it's attending a meeting or anything like that. I guess quite a few teachers that they would probably say that that there are some, I guess maybe some ups and downs, of course, about is the work desk notes. But on your hand too, that knowing about, really between student and teachers, knowing about who's responsible for keeping their desk clean, their office clean it is, and knowing about that, I guess that was one responsibility, because I remember that whenever I was in school, that a lot of times at the end of the year, that they would have all students, most of them, around, and say that it's time to clean out your desk, it is, and a few things that they may find, of course, it may have been something that they've been looking for, but then they never could find it, and then they had to take a 0 at the time, whatever it is. But other than that, it's talking about, it's like so far as knowing about which is comfortable and which is not so comfortable, and just knowing about with me that I have both that stuff now. It's like, here at home I have a desk where I can sit and work on bills and stuff, and then of course do say my normal homework, it is, whatever it is that I gotta do, if I gotta fax something, or make a phone call, whatever it is. But of course, one thing, of course, that more likely that I so far as a teacher's job is knowing about the typical things that I wanted whenever I was in school was, the thing that of course maybe I never could get, maybe was an overhead, or maybe a globe. That is, I think globe or overhead reader, anything like that. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that, that more likely it may possibly work out to where you buy one, and then knowing about check it out, and just knowing about really, what exactly are you going to use it for. Maybe I can work that out, but so far as talking about it's like, for the work desk notes.